there's people waiting.
The stream is live. I didn't even get to agree to that. Did I agree to be on live? You have us. I'm supposed to be on one end.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be a sandwich here. There you go.
There we go. Now it's a. I was gonna say it's a wiener sandwich. It's not quite what I meant. But
I think it's exactly what you meant.
But it is also what I meant. No, it's just what came out of my mouth unexpectedly, and I went with it.
Yeah, unexpectedly.
I just went with it. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna say good morning to our chat.
Simar's here. Hello, Simar.
Good morning.
Oh,
Simar.
Gourmet Pens is here. She's
Who's
Gourmet
that?
Pens. Azizah is Gourmet Pens.
That's me. That's me. So if you see someone being really rude in the chat, it's just me. Okay. All right. Okay. I have the notes open. I'm so excited because, again, I get to go do research after this. I'm a nerd.
Research on worm forming or worms?
Well, anything really at this point.
What most interests you about this?
That's a good question.
You don't know enough to be
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't concluded yet. I like to learn about enzymes, about what bugs have and what things like that. I think I might be the only one.
I
mean, it's fairly interesting. I don't have a lot to say about that today.
That's okay. That's great because you're going to prime my curiosity and then I get to go off on an adventure, a worm adventure.
Good.
A worm adventure.
A worm adventure.
Azizah's
one way to put it.
Great.
That's one way to put it. When I was in university, there was a class on mosses and lichens and bryophytes, and I took it because I was so excited about it, which is very nerdy because it was not at all what I studied in general, but I just wanted to learn about things that grow on rocks. And I remember my mom's like, is that something that is worth taking? I'm like, no, definitely not. But I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
All knowledge
is
good favorites. Knowledge, though.
Is it? That's a great question. Is all knowledge good knowledge?
There are some things I wish I didn't know, but all knowledge is good knowledge.
I'm going to say... Yeah, but if people know just a little bit about something, then
I've heard
so that's some knowledge.
A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Is that what it is? No.
I think so. I think it's something like that.
I don't know. I've never found myself in that position, so it doesn't matter.
I am just tweeting our stream. Oh, sorry, it's not tweet anymore.
Oh,
I am Xing. Yeah, I'm Xing the stream. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
You should continue to say tweeting.
I think that might be.
Shouldn't even be on that platform, really.
Yeah, I know. I don't really use it very much anymore, but that's okay. I don't
think it's okay. We should have a serious conversation about that.
Should we? Well, what about all the others?
Well, let's just concentrate on one.
No, Eric, I'm all or nothing. It's everything or nothing.
I don't have a problem with YouTube. Should I? That's Google.
Yeah.
And I don't much care for Facebook, but Facebook, Instagram, at least they're not quite so evil.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Exactly. Not as blatantly evil?
Overtly evil, yeah.
Max, do you use Instagram?
I do not.
That's probably a wise choice.
I don't use anything, really.
Oh, that sounds so delightful.
He's off the grid.
Yeah. I have a Facebook. I haven't used it in like...
Probably? That sounds magnificent. I fantasize about not having social media.
You could make
mostly because I have no self-control, so I will go to do something work-based and then end up there for like 2 hours watching a cat dance across the screen or something.
Well, I mean, I do the same thing on YouTube.
I was going to say, you don't need Facebook for that.
About,
Thank you.
Nazis or anything.
That makes me feel better. Thank you. I feel better about this. Although now Instagram is showing me really weird things, like a lot of wildlife snuffing other wildlife videos, and I'm like, this is.
That's because you paused on one of those videos
I
just a
paused in
second too long.
horror.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
and now that's what you get.
I'm gonna play our intro. You don't have to
Oh,
do anything. The intro will do all the work.
the intro will do all the work.
I love that.
I'm
That
just
was the intro,
laughing.
was it?
I'm laughing at the title card. Eric, what are you doing? I'm
Nothing.
so
Absolutely
curious.
nothing. The
No,
show is
I
going.
want to
You
know.
have my full attention.
I want to know what you were doing because I'm curious and nosy.
Can you guess? Since this is apparently of
What?
interest to you,
It sounded like you were folding stuff.
I was folding paper. Yes, I was.
Am I that boring?
It was the green room, and I had these. I made. I had to fold it because I'm making a prototype calendar for 2026.
Oh, okay. So you're not making like a wiener flyer.
No, I'm wearing the wiener flyer. Just
You,
here for wieners.
you are the
Somehow,
wiener flyer.
Azizah, we're all wearing the same shirt. I don't know how that happened.
How did that happen?
It was by your insistence.
I
as
know. I'm
recall.
so excited. This shirt is one of my favorites. Maybe you guys could tell us where these shirts come from.
You don't know?
Well, I know, but the audience might not know.
I think we should probably introduce Max to the audience.
That's
Max
fair.
has never met our audience before.
Oh, that's true. I just assumed that you had.
If we even have an audience.
We do have an
Simar
audience.
is saying that didn't see the intro on YouTube. So
Well, I
what
saw
that
the
means.
intro on YouTube, Simmer. So
Did you?
yeah, I
Did
saw
you?
it. I've got the
Are you
YouTube
sure?
open. I'm 100%
You never
positive.
know. Maybe it was just late. Max is my very good friend. We work together at Jacob's Meat Market in
I'm
Havelton,
so sorry,
Wisconsin.
Max.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You should meet the rest of my friends, frankly. He's not so bad.
He's not so bad. Wow. Well,
Max
Wow.
and I, aside from seeing each other at work on occasion,
On occasion, that's fair.
we have a standing dinner every Wednesday night where he and I and Nathan, who also works there, we go to trivia night at a local pub where we usually win. I can't say we always, because, well, yes, we always win because the point is to have fun, and we always do have fun.
But points wise, you almost always win.
Almost.
Well, last
Like,
Wednesday, we
good.
won with 0 points. If we came in dead last, but we had fun, so we say we won. Let's just make ourselves feel better.
Sure. But you guys are pretty good at the trivia.
We're not the worst team there.
You're not the.
We're
There
one of
you
the
go.
top 3, I'd say.
There you go. You just
3
need
or
to.
4, yeah.
That's really.
It's
Like,
not
impressive.
necessarily that we're good at trivia, though. Although Max he knows. We say he knows things because he just
knows
always
things.
comes up with answers.
There you go.
He knows things. But very often, and I have done the math on this, we're just good at guessing because we guess on 75% of them.
How
Um,
can? Oh, because okay, I was gonna
Let-
say,
yeah,
how
let's
can
see, I
you be
did-
good?
choice.
There are
kind of
20
fun.
questions throughout the night, and 12 of them are multiple choice.
Right. So you have some
What?
chance.
Yeah, on those 12. But the ones that are not multiple choice are worth more points. And
So
sometimes
are
we
th-
know those, and
Are
sometimes we don't.
those like you have to give the answer yourself?
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to write in the answer.
That's scary. See, trivia night makes me nervous because I have random knowledge, but not where it matters. Not like pop culture or math stuff.
And then sometimes you know something, but you can't find it in your brain. Like a
That's
couple
the
of weeks ago,
worst.
the question it was a write-in, and I'm so upset with myself because the question was, on Reddit, what does AMA stand for? And I'd say, I know this one. Could I find it in my brain? I could not find it in my brain.
Oh no.
I know. It was so
I didn't
disappointing.
know it, so
Eric.
So disappointing.
That's That's terrible. That's
Yeah,
like
that
going out
happens
without pants. Like I'm
'cause
forgetting something.
well, I haven't done that I know of,
Not
although
recently.
I could try.
Not
Um,
recently.
yeah, that's just being on the spot. But sometimes, you've had a couple of drinks. Who cares what A is? It's American Medical Association and crossword puzzles. That's all I know.
There's probably a subreddit for the American Medical Association.
I should have written that, and
So
then
you should have just gone with it, and then they could have
yeah,
argued, and you could be like, I challenge you.
I challenge. I've never
Okay.
challenged. I've
Okay,
never
so you work together, you trivia together.
Yeah.
Yes, that
That's
is
that's
that
a
is.
full experience for both of you.
Yeah, we spend a fair bit of time together. For sure.
Again, I I'm so sorry. No, I'm kidding. And what is your trivia team called? Because I feel like this matters just based on our
Should-
wiener shirts.
Do you want to tell them, Eric?
The meat men, a meat men.
Now, what would you do if somebody is not there? Do you have someone fill in?
Sometimes one of us is not there, but the other two still go.
And you'll still just go for it.
Oh
Why
yes, oh yeah.
So you're one meat down, you're still the meat man.
Yeah, and at some point we realized that I don't know where the name Meatman. I came into the team like a couple of weeks after it started. I got an invite,
Ah.
and of course I overstayed my welcome. I'm still going.
They're like, well, how are
But
we gonna get rid of this guy?
they were already called the Meatmen when I showed up,
Oh, cool.
and then
Ooh.
a year later or so, I realized that's our initials: Max, Eric, and Nate. So we're not just the Meatmen, but that's our initials. So I figured it was fake.
Ooh, that's fun. Okay, that's reasonable. Okay, Eric. I mean,
Azizah?
I know what's going on in your life, but I need to know because before the green room, I made a comment about you probably having been awake for 6 hours because you wake up very early,
I generally do.
and then you
But I
didn't.
was going to ask anybody if I've lost an hour today. When I went to bed last night, I had
I
all
hate
my
this.
hours.
I hate
And
this
this
so
morning
much.
I'm missing one. And I wonder if anyone has seen it.
I hate it so much.
It doesn't matter that it's on a Sunday. I mean, it's not as bad because
Why couldn't they do it Monday at like 3 p.m. and so then
everybody goes
everybody
home.
gets to go
Yeah.
home early? Like, don't take away my weekend. Not that it matters because I'm working at home
Yeah.
anyway. But I don't like it. So you slept in an hour?
I did. It was an hour later than I would have expected.
I was
Which is
expecting
fine.
a far more dramatic retelling.
No, it's just that I'm missing an hour. That's all.
Like
Nothing
you were
dramatic.
confused and you fell and smashed your face.
No, not this time.
Not this time. Okay.
Not this time.
Okay.
And confusion had nothing to do with that fall anyway. So
Yeah, that's true.
if that were true, I'd be falling all the time.
That's true. You were ill. Okay, and then you said one more thing. Shoot.
Did I?
Oh yeah,
say
your
anything?
camera. Can you
Oh, I have to admit that on
Yes,
live
you
television?
have to because for over a year we've been meeting I mean, longer than that. But
Yeah.
all this time
I've
we
been
just
very unhappy
assumed-
with the camera in my iMac. My iMac is like a 2019. I don't really want to get rid of it, even though it's kind of old because it's the larger version, the 27-inch, and they no longer make it. So in order to replace it, I'd have to spend a lot of money for what they're now offering.
They are very expensive.
But for a long time, I've been very unhappy with the camera in it because it made me look, I don't know,
Pixely.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but this morning, I was cleaning my glasses in preparation for this show at the kitchen sink, and I had the thought, maybe the camera just needs a little cleaning. So I came into the and I look much better. Just because
Well, look how sharp you
did-
are.
I did intelligently. Oh, have I stumped you on that one?
No, very intelligently.
I didn't know I was going to have to see. I told Azizah that before we were even in the green room, and I didn't know she was going to make me tell the world about
Well,
it.
I just wanted to point out that you're so crystal clear.
Apparently, my computer screen is filthy, dirty, disgusting.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not alone there.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Okay, and then let's see. This weekend, not that we talk about pens all the time, but this weekend is the Baltimore Pen Show.
This Like today?
Like today it's
Ongoing
ending.
right now?
I really wanted to go, but um
Azizah.
I know I'm so pathetic. I'm so pathetic. But that's okay because I'll see you in Chicago for the Chicago Pen Show. So I'm already
Wait, are
preparing.
you announcing that you're going to the Chicago Pen
I
Show?
am going. Not for
Oh,
the entire show. I'm flying in Friday morning, flying out Sunday morning. So it's like really efficient as opposed to driving in Thursday and spending the night. Anyway, um, so we'll get to hang out. We could be wieners together.
oh, we should wear our wiener shirts. Yeah.
Oh, totally gonna wear my wiener
I
shirt.
don't know if I explained that. Anyway, the meat market where we work sells
And
just here for the wieners t-shirts.
it's just so cute.
Yeah, there is a picture floating around of all of us at the
Oh.
Philly Pen Show wearing these shirts.
Yeah, not me though, because I had to leave.
No, he
We'll have to
wouldn't go on.
Photoshop me in or something.
No one
Anyway,
misses you.
okay, I'm so excited about. I'm gonna just gloss over that,
Okay.
bitch. I'm gonna just move right on because, for the week leading up to this, knowing that Max was coming on, Eric has been trying to force me to not research worm farming because I'm so excited about it. I'm just very nerdy, I guess. So, Max, again, thank you so much for agreeing to this.
Thanks
Should
for
we ask you questions?
Yes, that's how I see it going.
I mean, should I give you like a basic rundown of the process of worm farming? And
Let me start by saying you get to know Max when you play trivia with him every week, and I somehow found out that he used to be a worm farmer, and I didn't know what worm farming was, so I made it up in my head that this was you raise worms and people buy the worms to put in their soil because worms are good for the soil. Apparently, that is not the case.
Okay, that's what I would have pictured too.
Yeah,
right.
I was
Well,
wrong
a lot
about
of people,
that.
like think that like we raise them for like bait or something like that, which
Right.
I suppose there's probably some places that do, but that wasn't the point of the worm farm that I worked at.
Right.
So we actually raised the worms to sell. Worm castings is what we called them. So the poop, the worm poop.
That sounds so much nicer than poop.
It is actual poop.
Yes.
It's not that worms shed their skin and it's
no. They
okay.
They chew through the soil, and then the leavings are what we would harvest and sell as an organic soil amendment.
That
Right,
sounds so classy.
You don't actually go through the soil and harvest the castings. You get the worms out and sell the soil.
Essentially, yeah. We were able to screen out, most of the actual soil that was left to the point where like it was like 95-98% worm castings is what we were selling.
Oh, really?
Okay, so see, this is already fascinating.
Yeah,
to
this
me,
I
thought you would just have a scoop and you just scoop it, and then people take that as like a like a soil mix in, and they put it in and stir it up. But you actually clean it out.
Soil out most of it.
Well, we had a specialized harvester machine. So first what we would do is we got in soil from an excavation company. We used field peat, and we would run that through a pulverizer to kind of chop it up and make it fine, and mix in like this specially formulated mix of milled grains that we kind of experimented with and found the best ratio. Like this, and I don't remember exactly what it was. I have it written down somewhere. Anyway, so you mix that in, and then you kind of like wet it down, leave that for about a week, and it grows like a layer of mold on the top, which is what the worms would actually eat. And we would keep it in these big bins that were like 4 feet by 4 feet, and you could stack them up basically to the ceiling. So then after a week, you kind of take a rake and break up the mold, throw about 2 pounds of worms in each bin, and then you leave it for about 10 days. And we used African red worms, so they had to be kept at a pretty high temperature and humidity. And the reason we use the red worms is because we could have used Canadian night crawlers. They wouldn't have needed a special climate-controlled environment. But the red worms metabolize about twice as fast. So they eat twice as much, but then they also produce twice as much product in the same amount of time. So after about 10 days, we take the bins with a forklift, and we just dump them into this big hopper with a conveyor belt that led it that led into this giant rotating drum of screens of different gauges.
So this is like an amusement park for the worms.
Yeah, sort of. They went on.
I'm sure they're thrilled.
Yeah. So the first 3 sections of screen, what they screened out would fall onto a conveyor belt that would then be transferred to another conveyor belt and up into a big potato sack, and then we would just fill it up with like a literal ton of worm poop. And then the widest gauge screen screened out larger chunks of dirt and what we called cocoons. Obviously, worms don't actually have cocoons. They're more just like little cysts full of baby worms. And so we replenished our stock there. And then the worms and wood chips and bigger chunks of soil just got spat out the end, and we'd collect them and throw them in the next bin. Yes.
How big was this operation? Because in my mind, it was something we could do in somebody's basement.
You easily could on a smaller scale. We were actually, I believe, at one time the 4th largest producer of worm castings in the country.
Oh my goodness!
4 people at any given time.
And now the other thing that caught my attention was what kind of worms? African red worms?
Yeah.
Where does one acquire African red? Well, African.
This is Eric's future right here.
I believe I wasn't there when we started the operation, and during my time actually like running things as the foreman, we never actually had to like replenish our stock, like refresh the genetic pool there. So I don't know exactly where they got them. But they do, like, if they get down to like the mid 60s temperature wise, Fahrenheit, obviously, they just die instantly.
Oh.
So we have like a very, very climate controlled room. It needed to be
so this was an indoor operation.
Yes. Yep. Okay. All indoors. Yeah.
You can apparently buy worms. So this makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, you can. We did actually sell some worms to a few places trying to start their own worm farming operation, but they were expensive worms. They're very expensive worms.
They do not look cheap.
I imagine if you're keeping your worms healthy and happy for their poop, they're also reproducing, so you probably wind up with more worms. Or too many, perhaps.
Well, you said that the babies are like in a cyst?
Yeah, it's like little balls of soil with
Wow. See, that to me is riveting.
I guess I never thought about how worms are born.
How dare you?
Yeah. So is this like a little spider, those little sacks of spider eggs, but it's for worms?
Essentially, I never actually saw any hatch. We would take the cocoons that collected, and we would just create in the worm room, the climate controlled room. We would just create a burn
room.
Yeah. So just a giant pile of soil in the corner, and we would just dump the cocoons on there, some feed and some water, and kind of stir it around with the skid steer every once in a while. And then after long enough, we would just kind of take that and run it through the harvester. And
I am blown away.
This was the worm nursery or incubator, if you will.
Yeah, basically just a big pile of dirt.
And what's striking to me is that he could be making all of this up. It sounds like fiction to me.
Well, have you really thought about the reproductive life of African redworms?
No, I have not.
So this is I mean, okay. Wendy Sue, she says, I used to have a worm composter for my garden. I killed all of my worms. Wendy said,
How?
what did you do to them? Because I'm curious. But she also said that she uses worm castings in her tomato farm. So if the problem is we don't know about the stuff, Eric, you and I, because well, now
I
you
didn't
have
know about
plants.
I didn't know about worm farming until I met Max.
I am.
It's not something most people think of in their daily life.
But they
No, but it's on mainstream
froze.
now because at Target you can find
Yes,
a
please tell
jar
us
of
about this.
called worm poop. That's what they call it on the packaging.
They're trying to make it cute and trendy, right? By calling it
And I
worm
think
poop.
they've succeeded because that's the perfect name for it. Now that I know it actually is worm poop.
Legitimate poop. Yes.
And I went to Target to get some for this show. They were sold out. So it's apparently very popular.
Well, it's really a great product, frankly. Like it. I can't say enough about the benefits of using worm castings.
See, this is so.
Is this just something for the tomatoes that you're growing outdoors, or whatever or can you use this on your houseplants? Because I get the feeling
houseplants, you can mix it in with the the soilless media that you get in a potting mix. There's not a lot of soil or growth media that can't be benefited by incorporating worm castings into them.
Wow.
Do worm castings have an odor?
Not really. No.
Okay.
Are you picturing like manure, which is pretty rank?
Yeah.
It's what you might think, but it's almost like it's sort of just like granulated soil. It has like kind of a very slight earthy scent to it.
Right. Right.
Smells like earth.
So more tolerable than scooping manure into your houseplants.
Definitely, yeah.
So Eric, you need to stop doing that.
Okay. Wendy Sue says, yeah, they smell like dirt. And although I didn't get to purchase the worm poop,
Liquid
it's a cylindrical container from Target. Apparently, it comes in tubes inside there. So it's like one tube. I don't know. I wanted to buy it.
You need to go get some for research.
For research, yeah.
So it's somehow, okay, Amazon has worms, and I really want to ship you some just for fun. Because you always give me raisins, and so now I feel like I'm gonna send you worms.
I'm not deathly afraid of worms. Azizah
No, but you're
has
gonna
an aversion to raisins. I'm surprised she could even say the word.
Well, you know, I'm working on exposure therapy, but I
thought of it,
so
I'd have asked Max to be eating raisin bread.
I would have left the room immediately. I'd have been like, I'm not sitting. I'm up.
I wouldn't have. I don't care for raisins, so I wouldn't have.
Oh,
Max, thank you.
Azizah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, because Eric is cruel, and there was one Christmas where he gave me an actual like giant tub of raisins, and he thought it was hysterical because the horror. I fed them to the squirrels though.
Well,
which was a delight for me to watch. So, okay.
Seymour is threatening me.
No, you have no idea the kind of worm she will send you. That is true.
Yeah, they might be gummy worms.
Yeah, they could. Well, they're not. Any of them are not that pretty. But I find this fascinating, especially the scale to which this is done.
Yeah, we sold it by the truckload. Like when I first started there, it was a lot smaller of an operation. We were doing like 1 and 2 pound packages. Sometimes we'd do 50-pound packages, and we were also making other fertilizer and soil amendment products for different companies that used our worm castings. One of them we had to mix in urea, which wasn't great. We couldn't mark that as organic anymore, but some of them we would use like bone meal or blood meal, or we experimented with everything. We expanded clay, kelp, chicken meal, which is just ground up chicken skin and feathers.
That doesn't sound.
That one wasn't my favorite.
That sounds
we didn't run with
tasty.
that. But yeah, eventually we just kind of moved more towards the wholesale, and we stopped producing products for other people. So then the last like 3 years I was there, we basically there were a couple of people that would drive down from Michigan and get like a 50-pound bag just to grow weed with. But otherwise, they were selling it by the truckload.
Oh my gosh,
We ship several truckloads out to Colorado and California on a regular basis, specifically for people growing marijuana, because
that is brilliant.
It really it makes your plant far more robust. It increases the yield, and it's not a harsh chemical fertilizer. So if it's something you're going to smoke, you don't want harsh chemicals.
Of course. Like, I'm not really sure what I'm putting in my soil versus this is straight up organic shit.
Yeah. Quite literally.
It really is, isn't it?
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And what do you, okay. I'm laughing because Wendy Sue is in Colorado.
Worm poop makes great weed. But Wendy Sue also said she buys worm poop from Costco. And I had no idea that Costco, it has gone mainstream.
It is mainstream.
Which is why Max is on our show today, because we are, if anything, mainstream.
We are so relevant. We are hip. We are with the times.
So the question is, should I get this worm poop from Target, since it's a small package, for my ivy, my houseplant ivy?
Absolutely.
I mean,
why not?
It can't hurt it. Like,
can't hurt. Might help.
Yeah, and maybe you could do a hyperlapse where you set up a camera and monitor.
Sure, I'm going to do that.
You're not. Come on. Even a picture a day.
Isn't that a hyperlapse?
Oh no, because I was going to request a video.
Oh, you want a video? Picture a day
of their movement and growth. Don't you think that'd be fascinating to have like a week without?
It might be, especially because I put a trellis, a small houseplant sized trellis in it because it wanted to climb, and now I can see that it's growing.
That sounds adorable. Are you measuring it like people do with their kids on doorways?
I know I haven't done that yet.
I think you need to do that on the trellis because I need footage of this. And please get worm poop and feed it to them, because
some worm poop in there. Yeah.
I don't see why it would do anything negative. Worst case, it does nothing.
Right.
Well, worst case, it makes the thing take over the apartment.
And you can overdo it. Like you shouldn't use like 100% castings to grow something. It would work, but like the soil texture at that point isn't the greatest.
Right.
I don't know what the recommended ratio on the product at Target is, but in our experiments, we found with something like a soilless potting mix, up to 30% worm castings was beneficial. At that point, then it's diminishing returns after that. But
right. Then you're just wasting your poop.
Yeah.
Or your worm's hard work.
Is the worm farm that you were at, was it profitable? I mean, is this like profitable, or is it big money?
It was very profitable. Not as much when I first started, but I mean, they were kind of expanding when they hired me. They initially hired me on for 6 months just to package up the end product, and then a little over a year later, I was the foreman. So we had a bit of turnover, and we got purchased by a different parent company. But then they put a little sales force to work, kind of marketing us to larger purchasers, and we were shipping stuff out to California to ship overseas. We were it was a really big operation.
This is big business.
Yeah.
We pretty consistently would get orders in that were up to 10 truckloads, which were 22 tons each.
Holy shit! Pardon my. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit! Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a massive operation. I'm looking back on it, I'm still surprised we were able to run it with just 4 people. But
I'm shocked, and it all happens
a lot of work.
Indoors somewhere.
Yeah, it was all indoors. We were originally just kind of in a warehouse on the backside of Harbor Freight tool store, and then we relocated out to an old toy factory out in Hortonville. That it was massive, and it had like 10 different businesses all renting space in there. but they allowed us to have a construction company and fabricate like a climate controlled room in there. So
Wow.
it was ideal. Yeah.
And so I'm guessing, of course, it has to be indoors because the worms you're using have
Right.
to stay warm. So
Yeah.
that would probably be a large cost, is maintaining a heat in a warehouse.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
winter.
They were also very sensitive. So we had to have like heavy duty filters on
Snowflake worms.
to
Yes,
deflate them. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was
Oh,
nuts. Like
wow.
they were a bunch of prima donnas. Yeah.
I like.
Prima
I wish I could draw, because I would love to have somebody draw worms that are prima donnas. So somebody needs to execute that. Haunted Toy Factory.
It probably
Both.
was. There were there were still some old toys that we found like on top of the
Oh,
in our area.
Were they dolls?
No dolls, no.
Okay,
okay. No dolls, at least, because that is
those are
terrible.
the ones you have to worry about. Yeah.
You probably would have just burned the place down.
It's like, that's it. We can't take this
Not
risk.
taking any chances with that.
Wow. And because gardening is so popular now, especially post COVID,
Right.
I feel like, Eric, you got to do this.
Gotta do what?
You need to get some worms, and just one little bin of worms. You could
Well,
be the local poop farmer.
I'm sure that it was a year ago that at trivia night I asked Max all about worm farming because I was thinking that maybe it's a viable business. But that's when I learned it was such a large operation.
But
I mean,
only if you want it to be.
If you're going to do any kind of volume, I'm sure you could do it on the side and maybe just sell it locally. But I
You
mean,
could like go to a
just
farmer's market.
for your own garden like that. That's a completely viable option.
Right, right.
And you can use Canadian night crawlers that you would find around here, any local worms that can survive in your climate. We just, because of the scale of our operation, we use the red worms.
Makes sense. Yeah. And
You
now that
do
weed
it
is legal
anywhere.
in so many places,
Right?
I'm like, maybe that's a retirement plan for me in
Worm
Canada,
farming.
because I'm in Canada, so it's I'm
Small
like,
scale worm farming.
oh no, it won't be small
.com.
anymore.
Get it, Azizah, get it.
Small scale worm farming.
.com.
Canadian worms. Snowflake worms. Okay, I need to think about
Snowflake worms.
this. Just because I love this, and this is a weird question. The castings, what are they like? Like, what is the composition, I guess?
So they're dark brown, like the same,
Right.
basically the same color as the soil that we use to produce them. It's sort of like little granules, almost like coarse sand.
Okay. So that's what I was wondering. I'm like, if you were to look at it, how would you be able to identify it? But it sounds like you really do need a sifter. This is a great question.
Yeah,
Are
and
the worm yields dependent?
I saw some smaller scale operation one time that was also in the local area, and they just had them in like 3-gallon buckets.
Right.
And they had this custom built machine. It sort of looked like something that Wile E. Coyote would get in an accident. That's not fair to them, but it did. But it was basically just a screen, and they dumped the castings on, and then the machine like vibrated them, and it just sifted them through, and then they took what didn't spoon out. And
Right. See, Eric, that's your setup.
Sure.
You just need a giant vibrating machine.
By next week, I'll have it all set up.
So I see there's a question here
Yeah.
about are the worm yields dependent on what you feed them? Yes, very much so.
I would think.
like
if you didn't feed them, you probably wouldn't get any.
Oh yeah, well, obviously, but obviously just for so the worms aren't actually like eating the compost that you throw down there, the grains that we mixed into our soil. They're eating the mold that it produces.
See, that is interesting. Okay.
Well, again, you need a higher temperature.
Worms eating mold.
And so I'm not sure how it would work for compost. I think it might be better to compost your stuff and then introduce it to your worm population rather than just like throwing your food garbage right in with the worms.
Right.
Because as I said before, we kind of experimented with different ratios, different blends for the milled grain mix that we fed them, and we worked with a local feed mill that would, custom blend all our stuff. And the stuff that we used produced so much mold that it, like, the heat from it decomposing would spike so high that it was too hot for the worms, and it would produce toxins.
And they are sensitive worms, so
that's why we let the grain mold and decompose for about a week before we would introduce the worms, because that was enough time for that temperature spike to kind of drop back down.
That is, I have learned so much already,
Yes,
but
this is fascinating.
I didn't. To me, when people have, their little compost bins outside their kitchen, they're just throwing in the food scraps, and I'm picturing the worms are eating the scraps.
Right. Yeah.
But that is not the case.
No, they eat the mold. It's part of a whole ecosystem.
That is a beautiful.
Now, what do you do about humidity?
We just had to we kept it real hot, obviously, and we just had a hose in there with highly filtered dechlorinated water and all that. And the main way that we would control the humidity in there is by periodically just wetting down the berm that we had the cocoons and the baby worms in.
Right.
And just keep that good and wet. And then with all the heat, because we kept it at in the mid 80s, it was like 85 degrees in there all the time. So that would
that sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
That sounds really great. I love Symergy's questions because they're so nerdy, and I'm really into this.
The workers and the worms. I mean, I'm sure if you ate the moldy soil, that would.
I guess it depends on what kind of mold is being produced.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Ooh.
Like we really never had to worry about like spores or anything, like inhaling them. If
right.
That's what you're asking about. Even when we went in with a rake and busted, because like after a week you get like a layer on top that's just like moldy soil that you have to kind of break up and mix in. But yeah,
lots of questions.
Because of the humid environment that we didn't have to worry about mold spores, or if it just wasn't particularly toxic.
This guy's on a roll. These two, I don't know if anybody would know this, Symergy, without going in and extracting the molds to figure out what kind of mold. And it probably also varies.
You'd have to interview the worms, wouldn't you?
From species to species.
Right.
And I'm sure that there are different species of mold or different.
See, this is something I'm going to go research after.
That certain worms would prefer. We did quite a bit of intricate scientific testing when we were trying to figure out how to optimize this. We never tested the species of mold that we were growing, though. We didn't get that in depth with it. And now I'm kind of regretting that now that he's asking, because that would be interesting to know.
Yeah, I feel like that would be something that would allow people to refine the process further.
That sounds like it's something up your. Aren't you a microbiologist?
I'm a microbiologist, not a mycobiologist.
I said micro. At least I meant to.
Oh, but still, this is
close.
It's close. It's close.
Yeah.
A couple letters away, whatever.
Yeah.
Good enough. Because I'm reading that worms, they say to avoid things like citrus, meat, and dairy. So they're like vegetarian worms.
Yeah, well, it probably depends on the worm, but I imagine that citrus would just be too acidic.
Right.
The pH was, something that we had to be monitoring and testing all the time.
Of course.
Sensitive.
Of course.
Okay, it's starting to sound like a lot of work now.
Well, only if you're trying to maximize your. Yeah, it's not like.
That's usually what jobs entail, Eric, is work.
Just want the worms to do all the work. Come on.
Yeah, they're supposed to take on the load there.
They just get to eat and poop and reproduce and take a little spin cycle every few weeks. They didn't do it.
That's hilarious. I find this amazing. Okay, so Symergy says Aspergillus is preferable to Trichoderma. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like code.
On the research.
Wow.
Like the elephant has escaped from the circus.
Trichoderma. I'm not familiar with that one.
This is
3 something. It's
Well, I think isn't tricho referring to hair, and derma is referring to
derma skin.
Oh, this is
hair skin. I'm not familiar with that one.
their branches have little bits that come
Trichos?
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trichomes, whatever.
And so when you look at if you look at images of them, it's a very recognizable shape. Oh, this is so cool. I'm so into this. This
You're
is
going to
so.
show us, aren't you?
I don't know. How am I supposed to show you?
Don't you share your screen or something?
Oh,
Done that a million times.
Okay, hang on. Let me do that. Yeah, but I'm like, oh God, what's on my screen? Okay, here.
Yeah.
Let me present, and then I do share screen, and then it's gonna ask me this one. Okay.
Like she's never done it before.
I have to walk myself through it.
It's a painting.
Isn't that nifty?
Yeah, it's very cool.
Oh, I am so into this.
But that's the one that they don't like then.
So this is the one they don't like. They prefer Aspergillus mold for worms. Let's see what they got in here.
Yeah, that looks right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is beautiful. Eric's like, I'm gonna not ever read about this ever.
That would have been interesting to test, get a couple of petri dishes going, because I'm sure there were several different species of mold that we were growing, but yeah, we never really tested that. We always just focused on temperature, pH, and
right.
We tested certain toxic chemicals every once in a while, but once we figured out the routine, we sort of just monitored the
right, and of course all these molds have pH desires and temperature preferences. So yeah, scaling up even further would allow you, with this information, would allow you to.
I think we could probably find some room in the basement of the meat market, and the owner
I'm sure
would
the
never
owner of the
even
meat
know.
market would love that.
He wouldn't know.
Maybe some Aspergillus down there somewhere.
It's a huge basement, and it is stuffed to the gills.
Oh, maybe you should then.
We could find a corner.
You just got to go down there and cuddle them to keep them warm. The worms.
We'll put them in the furnace room.
Well,
Yeah.
That might be a bit too toasty. Oh God, no, we're not picturing mold in the basement. We don't want that.
No, there's no mold.
But thank you for that.
Better not to think about it.
It's better to not think about it. This is
quite fascinating. I'm gonna have to go get some worm poop from Target.
And you're gonna have to report back. Maybe it'll be your first Instagram post in a decade or whatever.
I doubt it. But speaking of houseplants, I happen to know that Max has a houseplant. It's a sago palm. Would a sago palm benefit from worm poop?
I imagine so. I do need to repot it in a larger, so I might look into that. That one I would think probably not a high ratio of worm poop, but some to be.
It's not a true palm. It's a conifer. So I don't know what that means for.
It's also toxic, so it's not like you can eat its fruits.
Right. Well, I wasn't planning.
Just in case.
No one was talking about that.
I'm just saying.
Thanks for watching out for us.
I'm just saying.
It's probably a few years away from producing fruits yet, if I can even get it to fruit. But
that's incredibly cool. Okay, thank you, Simmer. Do the worms ever try to escape?
Yes, actually.
I was not expecting that. Oh, okay.
So, it wasn't a huge problem, but like pretty much every morning when we came in, we'd go into the worm room and there'd be a couple of worms that had crawled out of the berm or out of a bin, and
did he say the burb?
The berm with an M.
Oh my goodness, that is hysterical.
But yeah, they'd pretty much just dry up and
they're just the explorers of the community.
It's like, dang it, Bernard, I told you to stay home.
Yeah, did they all have names? Now there's a question.
One of them did.
What?
One had a name.
Yes.
Why did he have a name?
It was the only identifiable one because he had a bifurcated tail.
Okay.
Oh, nifty.
And
Uh,
what
so
was his name?
George.
George, of course.
Not Bernard. Not Bernard.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Although that is a great name for a worm. But
I think so.
yeah, when the first time I found that one is when I realized that the different we kept them in different groups to keep the harvesting schedule, keep the rotation
Oh, yes.
properly.
That makes sense.
But then I realized that the different groups weren't interbreeding with each other enough in the berm, so we were like creating. We had like 7 distinct gene pools that
Oh my
maybe
goodness.
starting to get a little shallow. So then we started kind of every once in a while making an effort to like mix a couple of groups together just to kind of keep.
See, I bet.
Things
I
I wouldn't
bet.
even think of.
I bet no one out there is thinking of this stuff until you're in it.
Yeah, I mean,
Farm
a
gene
real learn as you
pool.
go kind of thing. Like even though it was an established business when I came in, like they really hadn't figured it out.
Right.
Like when me and my friend that I knew from before, he became the general manager and I became the foreman, and kind of had to like not really start from scratch. We had a base, but we sort of reevaluated like the whole process and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this. This is absolutely amazing to me.
It's fascinating.
I never would have thought of the gene pool.
Honestly, it was a real
worms.
fun job. It was something different every day. Always a different problem to deal with. So.
And high maintenance worms. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great, hilarious story for everybody.
As a worm farmer, do you ever have occasion to drive a forklift?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gets better all the time.
This
Like
is
the bins we had, they were stackable. They had little knobs in the corners and whatnot, and so they had sort of like skids under them, almost like a pallet, and that way we could pick them up with the forklift, put them over the hopper, and turn them upside down.
right.
And you need a forklift with a rotating head, but yeah, there was that, and then obviously moving around 2,000-pound bags of worm poop. You need a forklift for that.
Right. It's not like you've got 4 guys out there because that would be, or scooping it by hand.
A lot of my job was spent either on a forklift or on a skid steer with a front loader attachment.
That is so funny.
Cool.
It's
Very
like,
cool.
yeah, I'm flipping the worms today.
Yep. I mean, that was
Flipping the worms.
I'm flipping the. That could be a new.
Grabbed a stack of bins, dumped a bunch of them in the hopper, and
Yeah, that could be an insult
let it
now.
go.
Flipping the worms.
the worm.
It's like
Go flip some worms.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, you go flip some.
Gonna
I'm
go
gonna use that. Now I wish that. So we usually do word association, and now I wish
Oh,
that I
before
had
we
done.
get there, I want to.
Oh,
ask
I was
Max
gonna just say I
something.
wish I had done a worm theme.
Oh, is that what you? Oh, I thought you were moving us right along to words.
No.
You could totally change the words while I have this discussion with Max. But first, let me share with the entire audience
Yeah.
that I've already said we go every Wednesday to trivia night, and we win all the time because we have fun. One of the funnest things we do is you have to write your team number on the piece of paper that you're going to turn your answer in. And your team number changes every week. It depends on when you get there. So sometimes we're a 2, sometimes we're a 5. Doesn't matter. But what we do is we take turns writing the number. We all have our own special pencils. We're into pencils now. And then we if I write it, the other 2 get to critique my number writing. And we're always very kind.
Why?
We're not like, oh, that's
Why are
a
you
shitty-"
kind?
Because we're nice people.
Oh.
And we're all very talented at making numbers because we've been doing
Okay.
it our whole lives.
Okay. Wow. So impressive.
But the real fun is trying to find new adjectives to describe the number that you're rating. So yeah, that's the most fun thing.
I need an example.
You have to be there. Yeah.
No, but
You
I need
have
an
to be
example of one of the adjectives you might use to describe someone's like
there.
three.
Dolly-esque.
Wow.
Dolly-esque.
I've referred to a few of Nate's digits as susical.
Wow.
He's been in a susical mood, hasn't he? Especially
That's
with 3s. They're all
delightful.
loopy.
Yeah, the 3s get real curly.
So because of that, we're really into pencils. I don't know how many pencils we have now, but we've got quite a collection.
like wood case pencils or mechanical?
both.
Both.
Yeah, we have some Parker vintage mechanicals.
Oh my gosh.
We have wood case. The ones we really are enjoying right now is something that Nate found.
You have to tell us what it is. You can't say that and not tell us.
A Japanese, starts with a T,
Tombow?
Tombow, but multicolor lead. It's like a rainbow color lead. And Max has his right there.
Oh.
So you never know
Oh.
what color is going to get what's going to hit the paper.
Oh my
So they
gosh.
just make it all the more fun.
Yeah, they're pretty excellent.
Do I have one of those?
You don't have one of these.
No, I have a Kohinoor one.
These
Oh.
these were vintage, as I recall.
Oh, that is so cool. I'm into that. When are you going to use fountain pens?
Well, I haven't introduced fountain pens, and that was going to be my next question. Max, do you even own a fountain pen?
I do not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Oh, we got to fix that.
I have a call for fountain pens in my life right now.
We'd probably have to start with maybe some preppies or something.
Or just
maybe we should
like a Twisby.
Bring like a quill and an inkwell next Wednesday.
And then just graduate to a self-filling fountain pen.
Yeah, we haven't done that.
Imagine, Eric, imagine describing the digits that come out of like a flexible nib fountain pen.
Could you imagine? Yeah.
Oh, it would be so romantic.
Would it be romantic?
Everybody will be swooning at the bar.
So, yeah, we win just on style alone.
Swoon-worthy.
Style alone. We do have to do word association.
Yeah, let's do word association.
Max has not done this before. We have
it's very easy.
I know how it works.
We've decided
yes.
to let Azizah serve the words.
And there's really no point to this. It's just because I like to hear what people come up with.
The rule really is write down the first word that comes to mind, and I follow that rule.
Yeah.
And so mine are usually pretty boring. It's always the second one that is more interesting, but I usually write down first.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay. My first word is probably my favorite one. Mullet. Which my dad has one of.
Well, see, my words are stupid. Okay.
That's okay. Second is mauve. Like the color.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Third, glamorous.
Glamorous.
After mullet, of course. Fourth is sedentary. And last word is nobility.
Nobility.
Which could be used to describe worms, probably. They're probably noble.
Okay, Sim has
Sim.
participated. Nobility is slow, or maybe that was...
I don't think he did nobility yet.
Sedentary?
Yeah.
Well, mine are bad.
No, there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. And we do this...
You say that. Actually, I suppose...
Well, now we are curious.
Now we're curious. The first word I think was mullet, and I said hair because that's what came to mind.
That's fair.
I said party because
okay,
party in the back.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm into that.
And what was the second word?
Second one was mauve.
Yeah. I put shampoo.
Interesting. I said paint, which I could say for any color.
But I like this. Okay. Glamorous.
Oscars.
Sparkles.
Oh,
Sparkles.
I like
Ina Sparkles. She was a dancer.
I'm into sparkles. Sedentary.
Desk job.
Oh.
Now I said rock because I was probably thinking of sedentary, but I suppose rocks are sedentary. So
rocks are sedentary. That's perfect. Oh, that's brilliant.
It is appropriate.
He wins the game.
Appropriate. He wins exactly. And then nobility.
I said royal.
I said robes.
Oh, so you've got good words. I like the imagery.
In all the times we've played, no one has ever come up with the same word, which is
it's true.
Unless I'm misremembering, but I don't think so.
No, we haven't.
And Sim finally chimed in kings and queens.
Kings and queens. That's 3 words.
Nobility.
Synergy.
I said desk job, which was actually 2 words. Maybe
Well-
I'll hyphenate it. I'll
Cheated.
hyphenate it. I cheated. That
Cheater.
would not be beyond me. I am a cheater.
It's unsurprising, frankly.
What a bitch.
Yeah,
Can't be trusted with anything. Oh.
nothing. Never trust me with anything.
Well, this was epic.
Fascinating. I have to go back to Target now.
You
I
have
can-
to go
I
back
can
to
check
Target.
right now to
You
see if
have
there's
you
space
have
in stock.
homework for us.
I have homework.
Yeah, because you
Thing
have
to see
follow up.
The label on that, what they say about it, what they recommend. So,
Yeah, and did they
Oh,
they
yeah.
did call it worm poop? Like that was the brand that they were going for.
Yeah, it was-
if I recall,
yeah,
It was
I mean,
big on the label. Worm poop.
worm poop.
yeah.
There it is.
And
We tried to go in a different direction with worm castings or vermicompost. We tried to make it
Right.
sound a little fancy.
it's more elegant. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
but they're
that-
going for the memorable name.
Yeah,
and-
which,
like he's
Fair.
a giggly worm poop. Because Eric surely giggled when he saw it.
I mean, I guess
No,
if
I don't think
you're doing
so.
like direct to consumers sort of sales and not, 22
Yeah.
in truckloads, so you want a name that's going to catch
Exactly.
eyes. And they'll be like, what? Surely this can't be worm poop. And then they'll look at it and they'll be
And
like,
then they'll look at it. Yeah.
oh, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah. And when you worked at the worm farm, did your license plate on your car say got poop?
It did not. You
You don't have to work at a worm farm to have that.
never thought of doing that.
I think someone needs to do that to Eric's license plate. Even just like
Do
tape
what?
with tape. Just put got poop on it.
I could get that from the
I
state.
think you should-
I'm
you
sure
should
no
do-
one is using it.
I doubt that anyone's gotten that one in the whole state.
They're like, yes, no, we've never had a request for
Although
that. So
you never know who's watching this podcast, so you better call
Yeah,
up the
get it
DMV
quick.
right
you
on
never
that.
know. Oh, you could get a bumper sticker.
Well, the reason I said license plate is because Luke, the owner of the butcher shop,
Yes.
his license plate says got meat.
Not got wieners?
No, that's too long.
I
I
guess
don't
there's
think
oh, that's too long. And of course he has other types of meat other than just wieners.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Target claims to have 4 containers of the worm poop in stock.
Okay.
And
that's your
today's
homework.
Sunday, so I might have to
Go
go there.
on.
I'm gonna go to Costco so I can go look for worm poop there.
Apparently, they sell
Just to see what
worm poop at
quantity
Costco.
it is in.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can't imagine what kind of bulk worm poop.
Yeah.
you'll
I'll lie down next to the
Truckload,
pallet.
I think.
I'm gonna lie down next to
buy
it,
it by the barrel.
and then I'll take a picture, a selfie with it, and then people around me will think, "Oh my gosh, this person needs therapy."
Max,
Or
it's
an
Sunday, and I know that usually Sundays are pancake and crossword days for you. Are you late for that? Is it being postponed?
I am late for pancakes, but that's
Are they,
okay.
you
Ooh,
still have a pancake event to go to?
Oh yeah,
that sounds
okay.
delightful.
I'll be having.
Thank
some,
you. Thank
more
you
of a
so
brunch.
much.
Yeah,
Are
thanks.
your pancake crossword participants watching this?
I hope not.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
When
that
is
cracks
our
me up.
next 2-ring circus?
Our next touring circus is in 2 ring weeks. Sunday, March 23rd is our next date.
23rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have no idea what we're doing.
No, but we'll make something up.
We'll make something up, and
We'll make something up.
but this is going to be hard to top.
I don't think it'll be as entertaining as worm poop.
I'm so into this. And Simmerjeet
Worm
asked
farm.
more questions that I'm going to go research because I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, those were some really great questions.
So thank you for the
Answer.
feedback and
Yeah.
questions and from the gardeners who chimed in. Thank you all so much, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, and I have to go get some worm poop.
All right. Well, I'm going to do the thing where I do the outro, and
Oh,
then
the outro. You're gonna play the outro.
ready,
Okay.
and then everybody
Alrighty.
gets to
Bye, everybody.
go.
Don't go anywhere,
"Bye."
Max.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.